This is my treat to you, Tim.
I will never forget this. I feel honored to be quite honest with you that you would get your banana out for me.
Yep. Yeah. I really wanted to just kind of level set the interview. I wanted you to know the expectations of my involvement here. Yeah. And it was really going to be banana forward all along, I think. Yeah. And yeah, here it is.
Well, we're gonna peel the layers of the banana back today.
You know, I think that I wasn't surprised how good I would feel in the costume. Like that was, you know, like sometimes, you know, like a superhero puts on his cape for the first time. I think I could do a lot of good in this suit. I think I could help people. I think I could, you know.
You could help them.
Maybe even just change the little corner of the world that I live in. You know?
Yeah. Oh, bring
citizens of Robbinsdale. Banana Man. You know, I'm helping people across the street. I'm feeding ducks, getting kicked out of stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Banana sale. Just stand by the bananas in the grocery store. Yeah. That would be like
eating bananas while in a banana costume didn't go over as well.
But again, you know, when you sit down for your break, you can't really have the protruding banana.
You always have to be under a table
or standing up.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's an adult banana.
This isn't. It did say adult costume. I think I misread that.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Nice to see you.
You too, Nick. Welcome to Niver Niver Land. I know you've been dying to get on here.
Whoop.
I know you've been dying to get on the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and you know, I take this very seriously.
Yes.
So this is now. It's not a revenue stream or anything, but it is.
Do you think the banana is going to increase the? I mean, I thought it was a podcast, so then no one would see.
No, there's cameras.
Yeah, I didn't really think it through. I think.
Well, I mean, is that something that is common for you? Like you do things
100%. Yeah, some of my best work has been by not thinking through it.
Yeah. Just fucking go with it.
Yes.
Go with what you know.
Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit.
Yes, that's the name of my memoir, I think.
I don't. Yeah. Yes. I mentioned the fan that's keeping this thing.
It is loud.
It's loud.
Are we ready to kill it?
I think we're going to be ready to kill it.
All right, here.
But
I got to find it first. Yeah. Again, this is only I slept with this on last night because just the mornings are so tough. They're so tough at the house. Yeah. You know, like I can't do anything to disrupt the flow of the morning. And so if I'm going to do something like wear a banana costume, you know, I got to figure it out on my own time. So I've been up since 4 a.m. I first had the suit on at about midnight last night, and it was really loud in bed and very uncomfortable because the fan couldn't be on. And now you see the air is
Is that true?
Yeah. What part?
The part that you slept in this?
Oh, no. Not that part, but all right. Is this better?
Not much.
It is the loudest piece of clothing ever, yeah.
All right, no, that's great.
I think that my 12 o'clock meeting at the bank, I think is going to go better than this. I think this is like a warm up to a big presentation I have for Earl Giles today. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I made a big presentation with you. Well, it felt like a big presentation at the time with you and Danowski back in the day.
Oh.
Dean Phillips.
Yes, that was so much fun. He mentioned that on this podcast.
I mentioned it.
You did. You wrote it.
Yeah. Because it was, you know, he was, now he's running for president. Hello. But it was a pathway. You know, this is when we were in COVID or at the beginning of it. I don't remember exactly when we met, but he was there for the industry. And even before that, he provided us a pathway. He met with us about a really good idea that became really a big business for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Remember? Like, you know, we pitched him on a number of things, but it was a pathway. And I just appreciated that about him.
I remember that meeting very well. I think it felt like the first of, I think, many opportunities in my career to meet with people maybe outside of the specific path that I'm on and take advice from successful people. It was a really good opportunity to do that. One of the first, I think. So I have since made lots of tonic We were talking about
Yes.
tonic was one of those things. Yeah. So
And this is what I mean. Like,
yeah.
People have gone on to, some people.
Yeah,
have gone on
do
to
lots
do
of other things. Yeah. So, we still make lots of tonic syrup, and our first canned tonic water will come out here very soon with libation projects at Earl Giles, which is really exciting.
So Earl Giles, it's coming right up. Like a lot of production happening, a lot of ideas.
It's been a big year. Yeah, it's been a big year. It's been a big growth year for Earl Giles. I'm very excited to be part of that team. And I've recently taken over the CEO position of the whole company. So I've been about 2 months into that, and it's been really great.
What does that CEO mean to you?
So I was the CEO of the bottling company.
Chief executive officer,
Yeah.
but what?
Chief executive officer, yeah. Mostly clown executive officer, yeah. No, so I was running the bottling company. Thank you so much. And so, Earl Giles as a business has the bottling company, which is all the non-alcoholic mixers, citrates, elixirs, all that stuff. Then there's the distillery. We now produce gin, rum, vodka. We just launched 3 liqueurs. And then there's the restaurant. So those 3 businesses kind of have their own teams and things like that. And so I was running the bottling company side of it, and now have kind of taken a more, holistic approach to the business, which I'm really excited about. Jesse and I just put together our first menu in the bar, revamping the bar program, which has been really exciting. And we got really great feedback from the bar team and the guests alike. And so that's been really exciting. And then, next year is going to be about growth. We're going to grow into more states, sell more spirits and liqueurs in more states. And, the bottling company side of the business has really taken off in the last 2 years, double revenue the last 2 years, which is great. And, we're the prep kitchen for bars, restaurants, and hotels throughout North America and beyond. And it's been a lot of fun, a wild ride.
Yeah, congratulations. It takes a while to get to a place where you feel like you can maybe do all that too, right?
Yeah, I think I did it again. I feel pre-pandemic with Bitter Cube and traveling, I was, gone from home 60% of the year and up to my ears in work and overwhelmed. And then it took a pandemic to kind of break that cycle for me. And, I think I've pretty much gotten back to that level of not traveling, but level of workload. And it all works when it works. And then when you get sick babies and, a sick partner and then all of a sudden that big mountain of work that you've put in front of you starts to feel a little heavier, but navigating it as best as possible. So, yeah.
But, I suppose when you're a leader or looking for, just to keep your passions going and, your expressions through your work and the things, because you've always been a creative person. Stopping may not be an option, really. I'm not sure you'd be happy there without innovation, right? I mean,
I ran into you here a couple months back, right?
Yeah.
And you asked me this question that still kind of sits with me. I've thought about it often, and it was do you feel successful? And I said no. And you were like, man, you are. And that perception and that one question you asked me, I've thought about over and over and over. And I wonder if is it that lack of that feeling that continues to make me drive, or vice versa? Which one of those begets the other is a question I've pondered quite a bit.
Sometimes you work too hard to enjoy what you've done, because what you've done is something that has to be sustained every day.
Yeah.
And every day is a new challenge, or if you're pushing or scaling or whatever it is, man, there's a lot of energy that has to go into that.
Yeah. What helps with the balance is the roommates. These little kids, they're my children, but I call them roommates. It just makes it easier around the house. They don't pay any rent and they eat a lot of berries, but they are adorable and they demand being picked up from school at 5 o'clock every day. And they need to be fed and cared for at least a couple hours. And that middle part of the day is so sacred and really has helped kind of, I think, keep me grounded. Everything's got to get done in a specific amount of hours now. And, I think Owen's 19 years old now. He's out of the house. He's at school. And we've kind of started that path all over again. And it's been wildly exciting and scary at times.
Grounding.
And yeah. We were in the hospital with Maple for 4 days over Thanksgiving. She was sick, and that's, the first time we've done that with the girls. So that was scary.
Really humbling.
Yeah.
So all of this goes on at once. You can't stop it. It's what you've started.
Yep.
It's your fault. You've done all of this.
Yeah. Life is bananas, man.
Yeah.
Really that's one. That's one banana.
Right. How? Yeah. This is Nick Kosevich and also Niver Niver Land. Did I already introduce the show?
No, we have not done that.
The fuck? This is Niver Niver Land with Nick the Banana Kosevich today. Welcome to the show, Nick Banana Kosevich.
I am so warm.
The fan is up. The ass fan.
Yeah, the fan is
off. The ball
off.
fan is off.
And now I'm wearing a trash bag over long underwear, basically.
Yeah.
My original plan was to wear clothing that I could change into, but it didn't seem like I was committing to the bit enough. And so this was, I drove here in this. There was no other way to present it to you other than from the street. So yeah, there's a lot of time put into this thought.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I think moderate reviews so far.
By whom? I don't think no moderate reviews came out of here. This is a very positive review.
There were some people on the street.
But you walked up the stairs
surprised.
and I have one blind open. You walked up the stairs and I look out kind of slow, dopily, and there you stand in this banana outfit and you're like, here I fucking am.
Yeah. You said dress up.
So, dress up, yes. This is it, actually. This is it.
What's that?
This is what you do.
I hope so.
This is what you do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, maybe making something taste good or, being, made professionally or like, a product, but it's this thing about you, the attitude, the spirit, the humor. I don't know why I can't look at you right now. Wait, it is. It's like that. This is it. This is Nick Kosevich. Kind of take it or leave it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of always been that way.
I think so. Yeah.
But obviously you're much older and more mature now.
Yeah. I'm older.
Visibly.
I'm visibly older. Yes. I think that there's a lot of my career and my work right now that I don't get to be front facing to guests. So, the things that I'm doing at Mr. Paul's Supper Club with the Balloon Emporium, we do dinner in the Drinks Apothecary at Earl Giles, and those are 14 to 16 guests at a time, 7 courses. And it's, me and another bartender and Tommy or me and a few folks at Earl Giles. And those moments are the moments where I still get to do all of that, where I get to do the show. And, we've talked a lot about. But
you go to the bank too.
I also go to the bank. Yes, I meet with bankers and I also talk about growth and I manage folks and I do all those things. A lot of my day-to-day right now is really in the R&D side of the business. So, we have so much coming down the Earl Giles pipeline for cocktail development and product development and working with partners. And, while we're building the Earl Giles brand, we're also working with people creating their own dreams as well. And so it's this incubation opportunity in this creative space. And so that's where a lot of the creativity comes in right now. And then, again, it's also so hard to be gone at night with kids under 2 years old. So these, 3-4 times a month, get in front of a handful of people and, dress up as a banana, usually.
And invite them into the spirit of your spirit world, it's not just you, obviously, but, I think back when we met, it was kind of like, I was like, who's this fucking guy, Nick? He's got attitude. He tells me what I'm doing wrong kind of already. Like, he had an opinion whether I liked it or not. And I think I wasn't at that point in my career necessarily open to many other opinions. But he always had one and it always seemed relevant enough and spirited enough and funny enough that, like the things that you said were like, just kind of convinced us who you were. And that's it. This is what I'm saying. This is it.
That Town Talk time, for me, was a place to really polish something that I think I knew I had, but I had never seen anybody do as gracefully as you. And so watching you host there, I was cutting my teeth in that way and not as gracefully as you. You know, like watching you gracefully hold that door and then me being like, oh, I can do that. And then people leaving, you know, things like that. Like I felt like those few years at Town Talk, I was able to like watch somebody hold court, watch somebody, you know, poke at people, but for like their own enjoyment and enjoy that level of like, I'm giving you great service and great hospitality. I'm also bringing you to my level and making you meet me here. And you're an equalizer. You equalize the room and you bring everybody in. And like that whole thing that we were doing there, I've been trying to recreate for so long. And you know, Mr. Paul's Supper Club is really one of the first times I've felt that again. That opportunity to do that.
I walked in there and it lifts you up.
Yeah.
It lifts you up. There's a spirit and you know, it's elevating. You like immediately, if you at all sense energy, you know, like it's elevating. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So Town Talk obviously was, you know, I think it was kind of, well, it was my first place. And I was as close to some of the more fine dining aspects of my career, even though I was wearing like, I was serving at Axel's and writing my name upside down in crayon on the table. Mm. You know, like to get by to do what you need to do, right? Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter. You know, I think that was the lesson. I worked for great people at Axel's, and you know, they knew I was going to open a restaurant, and that I told them in the interview, and I just want to work here. And, you know, it kind of grounded me into what's real and what real people like, and how sometimes it is the fact that they know your name and that you scribbled it somewhere so that they can connect with you. You know, it's an invitation. And so with everything kind of combined, and then finding a partner like AJ and somebody who could cook like David Vlach, which was incredible, and Tora Westgard, who actually saved my ass a couple times, you know, so, and then you, and then a cast of others that kind of like jumped on that, that energy. And it's very visceral. I remember opening the Town Talk and I forget her name because I do that. Are you good with names?
No.
Okay. I forget her name. Cute. She went to South, I think, you know, just a cute 16-year-old wait assistant, never been in the business before. Mm-hmm. You're now trained, you know, by some really good people. And it was, you know, this is, I don't know, a long fucking time ago. And anyway, that visceral thing where you had to like flip the 4 sets of lights on, like, and then, you know, the hum, you know, like kind of just you're turning that fucker on. It's like, it wasn't necessarily a sports car. It was more of a hot rod. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know a lot about that.
Sure. Yeah. Big car guy.
I'm glad you kept it a car reference.
A station wagon in a banana costume. So yeah, not a big, Are we going to talk about football as well, Tim?
No, we did a little bit already. And the Bills won this week, which was really great. Anyway, so that visceral feeling of that, like you literally, with the lights go on, you know, and we were humming inside like that too. I don't know exactly how that all transpired. I don't know, you know, like I don't remember saying, okay, guys, this is how we're going to act.
I don't think so. I think like to me, the interviews that I had, it felt like it was not even really known what we were going to be doing. Like it was like, this is what this place is. This is what this place will allow us to do. Like I remember it being very much about like the history of it, and then this attitude of like forcing this finer dining aspect into this place that already had all this soul, and it kind of evolved in its own. You know, I got to meet with Eric, Cacciatore, is that? Yeah. And we were talking about it, and he kind of flipped it on me because I was, you know, waxing nostalgic about Town Talk, and he's like, 3 years in a business, it's not really that successful, is it? You know, and I was like, womp womp, and I was like, oh yeah, my vision of that time, and I think a lot of people's is this like positive, high energy, where we all learned and did this really great special thing. Yet it was also still hard. And I can only imagine how hard it was for you. I wasn't part of any of that. I was just the guy, you know, spray painting with liquids behind the bar and, you know, trying to be this new energy behind a bar and working with Aaron every day, fighting with him, you know,
getting cock-blocked by him.
Yeah. You know, you pulling us outside and being like, you two figure it out, you know, like there was like a familial element to that I've never really experienced again either, you know, like it was very, very special, but hard.
See, and I mean, is longevity actually the, what makes success a success, or what makes something worth remembering? Or I don't know, how many restaurants has Eric opened? Listen, you know, like it's the thing that happens is when you do it and you decide to do it, sometimes it clicks. Sometimes it's just energy. Sometimes the business doesn't work. Sometimes it really fucking works. You know, I mean, I had a lot of knives in my bag at that time. They weren't all sharp. They just weren't all sharp. And I was just starting. So what you thought I knew, or what I thought I knew, a lot of it wasn't fucking true. And I learned it quick. You know, but that doesn't mean it's not a success.
Yeah.
You know, I think, well, I guess I got a little hairy about that. Eric's great. He's so smart. And he asks me some things that, you know, he's got he's got a little probe on him too, you know. I mean, he's like looking at us, you know, kind of like, you know, trying to be like, you know, we don't know him. But that's still a little bit of that attitude that, again, that this is who you are, and how, you know, that energy actually can you know, part of what lives on after however many years is that memory. That's what we do for people anyway, what we provided, and how fucking fun it was when that place was fucking packed. You know, like there was no room for it not to be packed. That little fucking bar, and it's a diner, and the swivel chairs didn't work appropriately. You felt it. There was so much real there already. And again, you know, maybe that's it now. Maybe I'm remembering, you know, you just take what the place gives you, kind of. This is what it is. And it's a fucking city, and we're on Lake Street. And so you better have a little bit of the, how you doing? Good? Cool, you know? But then, you know, things on top of it got, you know, like weird for some people, you know, like the bar would be full or whatever, and a complete fucking stranger would walk in, and we'd just be like, the whole fucking bar just start fucking clapping for him. And they'd be like, whoa. We're like, no, you, you're here.
Yeah, I love that.
We had people walk out, feel overwhelmed and walk out. I mean, those were like the most coveted seats for a while. Just sitting there and watching that whole thing happen was incredible. I think the ripple effect of Town Talk has been incredible as well. I mean, I think that especially in the bar side of things, like that is, you know, of the family tree of cocktails in this town, like a lot of people, you know, were involved in that in some way, shape, or form. And maybe not always behind the bar, but there are a lot of people that came and watched it. You know, Jesse Held's origin story, not as a bartender, but, you know, flipping into cocktails was from him and Emma sitting there and as guests. And then, you know, one day he ends up working there, and now, you know, his name's on the front of this incredible distillery in Northeast. And so, yeah, no, I guess like for me, I think it's just interesting Kim
how
Tong and Adam Johnson, like everybody kind of was a superstar there. You know, it's up to the individual though to take that energy and to be able to kind of expound on it over and over and over again and bring it to the literal table over and over and over again. And you said yourself, sometimes, you know, you feel like you don't really have the opportunity to be front facing, and, you know, like, well, I mean, maybe that helps your career a lot. You know, it's really a lot of energy going out, but you get to specify and you get to kind of like bring a specific level of entertainment to it.
Yeah, it's very particular for me now. So like there's not a lot of me behind a bar where like anybody can come and sit at the bar. Like that to me has been less and less. Like, you know, I really much more prefer the like people that, I mean, it's a show. You bought a ticket to come eat and drink with me and my team, and we're gonna have fun. And, you know, that has been the most rewarding part of all of that, and being able to continue to do that. You know, I think that at Mr. Paul's, that po' boy shop was going to be offices, right? Like in the original drawings, like that was just going to be where everybody did their work. And then Tommy came up with this po' boy idea. And then from there, the po' boy shop was only going to be done during the day. Mr. Paul's at night. What are we going to do with this room? And now, you know, we get to do the most exciting, fun stuff there. I think it's really cool to have that like appendage of creativity where we can, you know, the bulk of the work is happening in that big room, but, you know, to be able to
stage set.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Blenders really add, don't they? Having a blender behind the bar.
Yeah, blender bar. Yeah.
Blenders.
We do we're more of the slushy machine bar, but yeah, not a lot of blenders behind our
really
bar.
She'd look into the blender ice cream freezer.
Yeah,
thing.
you ever put alcohol in ice creams? Yeah. I feel like, you know, the adult malts at Town Talk were done the most difficult way. It was like the hardest ice cream in the world, and done in a blender where, you know, a slushy machine would have really turned that into maybe a profitable beverage.
Looking back.
yeah. In hindsight. Yeah, I remember chopping at that ice.
There was so much, there were so many extras and so many things we gave to people that were slightly unexpected.
Surprise and delight.
Generous.
Yeah, looking at that original menu and the prices too, pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. $5 cocktails, you know, pretty incredible.
My tiny teenies, and you know, we made some of the ordinary, you know, special. Yeah. You know, just the way you serve something, and it was nice having a place with that type of edge. To be honest,
my whole career really launched from that place. I mean, at that same time, I was starting to compete in the Bombay competition, and finally took third in the country for that and became an ambassador. And then, you know, after the Theros group took over Town Talk, I stayed for a bit and then left at the end of 2009 and started Bitter Cube, you know. But those original, you know, first formulas of bitters were happening behind that bar, you know, because there was no access to that stuff back then. You know, a storied career for me personally came out of that tiny finer diner, which is great.
It's beautiful. Like that, like I say, you know, it takes the individual though to kind of harness that energy. And not that I gave that to you, you always had it. It's innately in people who want more or are looking for some sort of other definition for themselves, or, you know, an expression. You know, it's our art in a way. And I know I'm not trying to romanticize it too much, but you know, it's what we do. Yeah. You're an artisan.
As a theater kid who, you know, at that time, you know, Owen was still young. I hadn't gotten a divorce yet. I got divorced during that time at Town Talk. And, you know, I was struggling with identity and who I was and where I was going. I was trying to go back to school to be an English teacher because I had a kid, so I quit playing music. I had originally went to school for theater. I was a stand-up comedian. That bar and that restaurant was the first time, by watching you, I realized like I could put all of those things back together again. And then, you know, now I'm in control of the music. Now I'm in control of the vibe. Now I'm setting the stage. And now I'm bringing this whole other level. It's not just eating and drinking. It's the entertainment of hospitality. And that was the first place, you know, like, and having you there to support it, defend it, curb it, calm it down. But like, you know,
I didn't do a lot of curbing.
Well, yeah, but right, exactly. Because we'd get a complaint about the music. And you're like, nope, we're keeping it loud. You know, like that, you know, like that juxtaposition of what that place was really special. And it really did form me as a individual in the hospitality industry.
It's not really ever about saying no with that attitude. It's kind of like, hey, this is how it is, you know, and just, you know, this is how we are.
Yeah.
We're a little loud. We're a little boisterous.
Yep.
You know, it's okay to make fun of people a little bit and of yourself, and, you know, kind of be, you know, like strong, confident. Like I can say it how I want to say it to you. I'm really happy to have you here, but put your name on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take good care of you. But, you know, like,
you're like, oh, you're a governor of something. Yeah. Well, you're still number 5.
Okay. Right. The actual time that you got here.
Yeah.
You know, we can see what the people ahead of you did.
And it's a little different in Edina at Mr. Paul's. I think that we've carried it forward as best as we can. But like at the beginning, like there were some complaints where like, I don't know why the bar manager thinks he needs to stand on the table and bang on pots and pans. That was a comment that fair.
I mean,
yeah. Why is the music so loud? Fair, you know. So there's some, you know, edges that we've rounded a little bit to care for that population and a larger population of people, but we're doing our best over there.
Do you think a restaurant that was just like quiet on purpose, like you go in there and you have to be quiet, do you think that would work conceptually?
I mean, I think that there are those around, like, for sure.
Naturally or on purpose?
Well, I mean, like, you know, Eric Anderson was at Qua in San Francisco, and, you know, Qua is a very quiet restaurant.
Yeah.
It is, and I always ate there by myself, which is the best, I think, way to eat Eric's food. And I just like remember how you walk into a room like that, you walk into like a really high end restaurant, and sometimes it's almost like the entryway into that experience almost pulls you. You're like, yeah, this isn't, you know, this isn't about you necessarily. So, you know, calm it down, you know, quiet it down, I think. Yeah, I think those restaurants do exist. They're not necessarily for me or not something that I would be part of, but I have been to them for sure.
I kind of miss that finer edge, you know, even day to day, even the way that I, you know, run around in the restaurant sometimes. I wish we could go back. Matt said he saw a clip of me back in the day with a suit on at Aquavit, and I kind of miss some of that. But I didn't end up with it because it's so hard to do that every day and be, you know, a natural human in your business. And I think that's always kind of what I wanted to be, was kind of a pretty natural human. Like I don't, you know, I'm just like you. I have my day too. And, you know, like understanding that we're together in this more than, you know, you're just a guest, you know, like being a guest is one thing, but, you know, treating each other like looking at each other in the eye, or, you know, like the simple basic humanities, you know, I think that's just so important. And maybe just kind of being a natural human and acting as you are is the concept.
I wore a suit every day for a very long time. Like probably up until the pandemic, I was mostly a suit person. Like I wouldn't really leave the house without that level of armor on me. And I feel like it was a flip of like, I wore a suit to help define what I was obtaining. And then at some point, I don't know, I feel like pretty recently, I felt like me wearing a suit was almost taken away from that. Like I felt like I was intimidating for no reason. Like, what's the point of dressing like that? You know, especially if no one else is dressing like that.
My uniform is an apron, and it almost always has been.
Yeah.
Like I've considered myself a blue collar worker.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been much of a suit wearer as of late. More banana forward costumes and things like that. Yeah.
And how are you doing in there? Are you getting a little
It's fine. It's schmaltzy? It's actually regulated. I think I could cook a hot dog in here, but my body has acclimated.
You are cooking in a way a hot dog in there. Hey, do you want some more coffee?
I do. Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab that. One sec.
Is this a good time to maybe remove this, you think? Oh, yeah. This is it.
Like you're ready to
Do
you need help?
Yep. So you're gonna wanna call my wife. She's got a list of instructions for you. So there's a zipper in the back.
I have to do this in the back?
Yep, zipper in the back.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Does it stop?
No. This said to see where it started. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And then now it's one arm in. One arm out.
It's like getting into a craft made apron. You know, until you know how to do it. Like you're kind of like, wait, how do I?
I always, putting on a craft made apron in front of people, it's like you know, tying your shoes.
I got it down there.
All right, grab that.
Right here.
Yep.
Ooh, it's a little sticky.
It is warm. Yeah, it's definitely.
It's a little sticky.
All right, now we got to get it through the elbow. Once it's past the elbow, it's good.
Okay.
All right, now same over here.
This one's not as sticky.
Are you guys ready for the big reveal?
Yeah. The big reveal.
Woo! Wow, that was,
yeah.
It is warm. It is, I now know how warm it was.
You got a good form there, buddy.
I'm feeling pretty good about it. Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to get in the way.
All right. You got some nice guys. This is my half model, actually. I don't know if you guys.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, for Nike and Reebok. I totally believe you. So, what do you think about the wool pants over the? That's gonna get warm.
What do you think about it?
We're gonna find out.
Steamer.
It's a steamer. It's real cold outside.
God, you look great anyway. In any outfit, in any
Costume change.
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right, we're in.
super hot.
That's good. All right. How's this going?
What?
Yep.
It's
Great.
fine.
It's fine.
It's just going okay.
We might use it.
I don't even. I mean, I make. Hi.
Hey.
This is again Niver Niver Land. We have the actual non-bananaed Nick Kosevich with us today.
I feel good.
Welcome
Yeah.
back to the
I
microphone.
feel good. I'm in my element. I look good. You know, as a bald man, when you miss one haircut, you look disheveled very quickly. And I realized that today that I was looking pretty disheveled in my banana costume. I was hoping the banana would kind of detract from the beard. There's grays popping out of my beard now. And
Oh, is that unattractive?
no, that's not what I said, Tim. I just don't have enough of it yet. And they grow at an exceptional rate of like faster. Yeah, it's like the movie Cars, but with facial hair. You just got Mater, these white, Yep.
Here
we are.
They just pop out of there, huh?
Yep.
Them gray hairs. I think it's added to my look. I think the gray is really, I used to call it a racing stripe, and now it's all
there, yeah. It's very...
I have to go with it. I just need to start a tequila company or something like that. And that would,
Bar
that'd be great.
boss.
Bar boss.
Where are you taking us?
No, I don't know. I am not sure where I'm taking us.
Heard.
Where do you want to go?
Well, I mean, I feel like I brought a lot to the beginning with the costume and, all that.
It's my turn now to do something.
Well,
okay, now entertain us. Now you entertain us. I think I've been thinking about how, entertainment's a big part of you being you and the spirit of the places you are being you, an extension of you. Do you get tired of that, like having to press that energy forward, and you must have like an army of people that are still on board with that type of energy, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a newer team, right? Obviously I had a pretty big team during the Bitter Cube kind of heyday before the pandemic, and then Bitter Cube kind of discombobulated and recombobulated, and Ira and I split things up mid pandemic. And then kind of went out on my own, started Drinks Apothecary, just me. And then, very quickly as I was working with, Jeff and Jesse at Earl Giles, they were kind of co-packing for me. And we kind of made it through the pandemic together. Jesse and I were doing cocktail classes for anybody and whoever would throw a little money our way for online stuff. And we were sending cocktail kits out. And it just became very clear that we were, I think, already on very similar paths, but now our paths are right there looking at us. And so, there was some opportunity there for me to kind of just come on board and basically fold this new business that I had into Earl Giles. And now, fast forward 2 years now into it, I have a team of people that are working directly with me, but then even bigger. I mean, there's, I think 85 employees, maybe more now there, that are, I guess technically all under my guys in some capacity. But on the bottling company side of it, yeah, there's, a guy named Mike Byrne, who is the director of operations there and works very, very closely with me. And Jeff Erkla is head of R&D. So we work, together every day. And then, our production team is, I think, 8 strong now. Distillery has 5 employees. So, I think that, we are building another great, cast of characters and people that are really dedicated and come from all different, vantage points and levels of experience. But it has been really exciting to rebuild that. And, there's some of the stuff that I'm doing that's the same as it was in Bittercube, and then a lot that isn't. And I think that, the big vision that we have for Earl Giles is this, customization package, this idea that like we can make things easy behind a bar, but still have your own signature on it, your own twist on it. And so that idea is really what's been fueling this R&D growth for us, and just continuing to produce products for, locally and nationally, bars and restaurants. And it's been really great. And I think that the idea really became more valuable to people post-pandemic. We're trying to reopen. You don't have the same staff. You don't have the same talent pool that you were working with before. How do we make things more efficient, more affordable, more effective, more consistent? And the products that we're producing do all of that. They answer all those questions. And I think that's what puts us ahead of a normal distillery. We are a service. What I try to tell everybody is we're a hospitality company over anything. We make products, but what we're really doing is trying to give bars the ability to have more hospitality and less work, right? Less busy work during service, more efficiencies. And, that's why everything's on tap. Mr. Paul's, everything, tap, pour over. And you get the minor complaint about that, or people look at it from the wrong lens, and all of it is for the guest. So much of my career was self-centered, in like the enjoyment that people were getting from it was a byproduct of me getting enjoyment from it, and now at 42 and in this new position, flipping it all and going, what can we do so that the guest has the best and most ease of enjoyment? And that's kind of what we're trying to provide now.
So taking it out of the restaurant, putting it in the home, giving people time, giving people convenience, giving people quality. And then you have Chef like Tommy, who's like a jovial sort too, huh? Like,
yeah,
and
Mr. Paul's has been great. We just hit our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah,
the team there, like no turnover. And again, I think that there's a part of the bar team's consistency and lack of turnover and commitment to the program and happiness in that employment is the way that we are doing the bar program. The fact that a bulk of the ingredients come to them, prepared for them, and the batching process is this mix, this spirit, this water in a keg. What a smaller team is able to do during service, what a smaller team is able to do with batching, all is happening in a much easier environment, right? I think that, if you think about like Eat Street Social, for example, that was like the hardest program we've ever done. We had somebody downstairs 40 hours a week just making ice. There were people that were just downstairs prepping for a full-time job. How do you get away from that? How do you make that profitable? So it's hard. It's hard to do. And so, we've found these
finding margin.
Yeah, exactly.
In different ways.
Yeah. So the consistency, the tap cocktail nature of it, the expansion of that across the country has been a very successful path for us.
Mm-hmm. And are you in how many states are you in right now?
I would say we're probably represented in all states now, all 50 states. We have big partnerships with hotel chains like Marriott. So we're producing cocktail mixes for all the Aloft hotels, Moxie, all the new hotels that open under the Marriott guys. We've got different products in all of their different tiers of hotels, and we're actively pursuing more of those. So I think that there's something that we make that's definitely represented in every state right now, and that's for the non-alcoholic side. The consulting side of the business is still increasing more and more. We've got projects in California, Ohio, new projects here locally. We just did Guy Noi, was a really successful one for this year. Again, that's such an amazing example of what we're capable of we trained everybody. So there's not a bar team. Everybody learned how to make these drinks in a very short window. I had 2 days with everybody and maybe 4 hours each day to go through the training and show them how to make these drinks. But then when they look and they're like, all the drinks that are on tap are all 6-ounce pours. You just have to remember the glass and the garnish. You just see the weight lifts off of everybody, and what they're able to do out of that building right now is pretty incredible. And so that's been a big successful one for us.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, and the quality is good.
Yeah.
Quality is good. I had a delicious cocktail, and I love the fact that everybody can do it. We have Mucci's is so small. We have everything's small. So we have a small list of this, a small list of that, but everybody makes the cocktails. Everybody shakes or stirs a little bit to make sure that it's, true to its form and delicious and simple and straightforward. The show though, the entertainment, how do you actually get somebody else to do it though, right? Like it was us at Town Talk. We were the show, and then you said to yourself, well, it's about me, and now it's about the guest. But how do you get other people to go on that show with you, right?
You said it already in this conversation, was that you didn't make me that way, right? So it's really about finding those people. I think it's hard to try to force that into people. And I think that it's also kind of, for me, when I'm building a bar team, not everybody needs to do that thing. You kind of have one or two, somebody and then I think also is not trying to replicate it from my vantage point, but trying to get each individual to get we call it bartender bravado, right? We used to call it Niver Niver something or another, but it's, this idea of head up, chest out, know what you're doing, be educated in what you're doing. And so for me, the platform that we do is to provide the training and the education to make people feel comfortable and confident. So it's everybody's own confidence. No one's gonna be me behind the bar poking and punching. But if I can get other people to do that version in their way, then we're winning. And I think that Mr. Paul's is a great example of that. You've got Bill and Dante and Ainsley. You've got this team of people back there that in their own way, they are all confident. They're confident about what we're doing. They believe in it and they know about it. And I think that the bar world especially is one of those final frontiers where you can really work your whole career and phone it in, and I've seen this in my traveling and my training. I'm opening up a hotel in the middle of Ohio, and I'm working with people who have 20, 30 years of bar experience, but don't know the difference between bourbon and rye. And so, you can see that there's that, you can phone it in, you can punch in and out and not know how to talk about the 4 different aperitivos behind your bar and things like that. And so to me, providing the education and finding easy ways for them to absorb that education, I think is the path.
And then whenever you have that education, increases your confidence. And then when you have confidence, you can actually go to person and just actively sell, actively promote who you are, how you are, actively, get in their wallet a little bit with the charm, the Riz, right? Is that what I think is?
The Riz, yeah.
Riz?
Yeah.
You say the Riz?
I don't
say Riz.
I don't say either of those
Why?
things. I'm an old man, I think, is probably the first one. I feel like Owen cringes when I try to talk hip and with it, and he is my metric. I tried to lay a Riz on him in the car, and he was like, don't take this from me, Dad. Yeah. Charisma, though, it is. I think that is what it is. And I think everybody has their own individual charisma. I think that Tommy and I, when we opened Mr. Paul's, I think we were hoping that we would have more, I think it felt like we wanted to force that, let's go, let's do this, and then you slowly
when you're
pull back.
Banging the pots.
Yeah. When guests are wondering why I'm on the table banging pots and pans. But we did find our swan song there was, really laying into the birthday, and we would make up that it was someone's birthday, you just all right, it's Bill's birthday tonight. Happy birthday, Bill, everybody. That birthday energy, even if it we have sang happy birthday to no one in that restaurant, because that that is the best. That's the best. Whose birthday is it? Fuck if I know. But man, everyone's singing. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
Who
it's
cares
the
whose
Irish.
birthday it is?
Yeah, it's the
Dear
Irish pub
person.
song. Yeah, exactly. And that is, I think, a great example of trying to just create that energy. And you know, the fun thing is at
It
Mr.
is a
Paul's
great
is
example.
you sit at the bar. Next time you guys sit at the bar, just start singing "Happy Birthday." And someone's
grow.
gonna join in, and it'll grow, and the whole restaurant. Suddenly, you got people at the other end of the bar, and they're just like, "Yeah, all right!" Like that's what we want, you know. And that's again, like we found a way to kind of transition from East Lake Street to Edina. How do you make it? You sing "Happy Birthday" to no one. That's how it is. Yeah.
It's people. It is the people that also have that you know, like that spirit to live. Like there's a spirit of life. There's always a humorous something you can get out of what you do all day long. Our business really, like if I had to say one thing I could not do without in our business is all the laughter. Like is all of the ball busting, all of the, I mean, that really is the essence of the day, you know, with the people you work with too, you know, like it's just, it's part of that. It is part of what drives you. And you put people around you purposefully. If you put people around you purposefully that can, you know, have that energy in their own way, that spirit in their own way, as they say, and push through with it and be genuine in their way, whatever it is, quiet, like you say, like whatever part of it is. I think about this guy, David, who's worked at Mucci's basically the whole time. And he doesn't ever have to say a lot, but everybody loves this guy. He doesn't really say a ton, but everybody just like mad respects him. And he is really important. And I don't think he'd ever say that about himself, but like he's one of the, well, Courtney, I mean, there's a lot of them, but you know, it's just like, he doesn't have to exert on anything to have the respect that he gets. Do you know what I mean? Like it just naturally happens for him. And he's like, he really is one of those tightly woven threads within the culture, the joint, that everybody kind of has this, it's not even quiet respect. We fucking tell him, you're the best, you know, and he's just kind of like, whatever, you know. It's important. And I think about, you know, like the ties we had, Yumi and AJ and a lot of the other people that came through that bar. And, you know, I just remember us talking about treating drinks like food. You know, why don't people treat drinks with the same amount of care and tenderness, and even with the same products, you know, like, it just made it like, you know, we're not just bartenders. And I had never been behind the bar. Like I pulled my first bar shifts probably.
I had only really bar backed. I mean, you hired me as a server. That was supposed to be where I was headed. And then I think with Aaron behind the bar, I wanted to head that way. But you know, my bartending, I had bartended a little bit at the Palomino, but again, like
Palomino,
man. I mean, that's where I learned all my, you know, kind of structure, I think. And like, but like you guys had this independence that I didn't know existed. I didn't know that you could not be in a corporate restaurant, you know, like the idea that you guys were doing this thing on your own was new to me at that time, and to watch it all unfold and be part of it was,
me too.
Was so
new
exciting.
To me too.
Yeah.
But it was definitely an environment where we fed off each other, where we fed off that energy with each other. And I think it really propelled us. I think it was like it was an explosion. It was us coming together creatively and taking the reins off, or not having any reins. And maybe we should have had some. We should have had some. We needed the reins.
Yeah.
We needed some reins. But yeah, man, you know, it was just providing ourselves the opportunity to taste things that we hadn't tasted before, or, you know, whether we were doing it the right way or not, shaking things with other things that hadn't been shaken before, or you know, like just kind of mastering palate and, you know, walking through it, what it was like to be fully creative and to have what a clunker is, or what a, you know, with something that lives on, like a Jackson Pollock lives on, or something like that, you know, that becomes signature, or oh man, it was really good time. We took that to the strip club too. You know, it was only 2008 or whatever when we opened that, and we were able to, I don't, you know, not necessarily, I guess was a little more refined, but it was still the same attitude, really. And it's nice to be able to walk through that a little bit with you, and finding the history, that kind of like the building blocks for things for myself. Like I don't think the Town Talk would have been the same without you.
Thank you.
But it sure as fuck would have been good.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I opened not good places, but man, like I think you showed me as much as I showed you.
Wow. I don't.
Well, people have that drive, like that pushes me along, and I far surpass me in diversity of project and ability, and like I just it's just amazing, like to see you now and just how much you're doing, and even cannabis, and I mean you're just like really reaching every facet of your ability, like and diversifying, Nick. Like it's really fucking cool to see.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
It's a pleasure, and like I say, to be able to, I'm not trying to wax. Well, I am trying to wax nostalgic, I guess. It's more like like just that reinvigorates me. Those thoughts reinvigorate me. Like I don't always feel like hospitality has to come out of me. I just feel like I say, I just need to be a genuine human. But the entertainment and the laughter or whatever, I don't necessarily feel like I need to provide that at my restaurant. But it's really nice to walk through that with you, because what I'm doing is just so much more simple right now, and I've really found a home in it. Just being able to be at the door, like say hi to people when they walk in. It's Italian food, but thanks, because it's just a beautiful thing to walk back through that, and then just to see what's happened since, and your family.
Oh my gosh, so lucky. Yeah, Allie and I tried to have babies for 3 years. We had 3 miscarriages before Juniper was born, and it was a pretty tough road, lots of ups and downs through all that. And then right on the heels of Juniper being born, to have Maple come in into the fold. It's so wonderful.
They're adorable. They're all adorable.
Oh my gosh.
I've known Owen Oak for a long time.
Yeah. You got to see him a few months back, and he's thriving. He's doing good. He's in a very unique program. It's called MICC, and it's Minnesota Independent Community College. It's for kids on the spectrum that need a transition. So it's that space before, going to university and learning how to be on your own. I think like for someone like Owen to have your parents, consistently reminding you to do everything. And it's this very important transition, I think, that I'm watching him thrive in. And now he's working with me at Earl Giles. He barbacks for me during these dinners, and it is so exciting. Watching him engage with guests and communicate with people on that way, and understand hospitality from, somebody with, Asperger's, that being on the autism spectrum, that has really been wonderful. And just watching him, kind of see why we do this, and the art of it and how it makes people feel has been really special. So yes, I'm very, very blessed with that family. That's for sure. I'm a very lucky man. Yeah.
LK works at Mucci's still, and basically has worked in all the restaurants. And I left the floor at Town Talk to go have Wiley. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, you got the call. I'm like, whoa, that's like a month early. And I was like pitching a 6-top dinner. I'm like, well, wife's water broke. So here's Tim
soup.
Baker.
Yeah.
Baker, this is your 6-top.
That's amazing.
And I went home with a bottle of champagne or bubbles of some sort. And Chrissy's sitting there all packed up, ready to go. And, like, oh, we're going to the hospital. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, let's go to the hotel. And I took my fucking laptop, in that time used to be this big. And we're like, whoa, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It's just crazy. That's a long time ago, man. But family does, mark another part of the success of your life. Just always, I have guilt about the time that I spend away from my family. And I think I've dealt with a lot of that guilt, but it's more understanding that you come through something and you had to go through it anyway. And the time away was necessary for the time together when it's necessary. Mm-hmm. You know, LK got in a little car accident and, you know, she's got her own adult life to do. And I have some time to help her, you know, get a new car and, you know, go pick her up from those things. And I would not have had that. I mean, I didn't have time where I could just drop everything and go, and I can now. So like, it doesn't always matter. You're not necessarily there for them all the time. It's just, you know, certainly when you need to be, that you can be, and that, you know, you get through a point where you can't be with them sometimes. And now it's nice really to actually be there with them. And I've been able to like put that back in my life. And it's really just, you know, maybe the fact that my daughter is now 23 and we can like look at each other and bust each other's balls. We have similar interests. Yeah. And you're friends. Yeah. You know, like in a lot of ways, you know, and, you know, like she brings the light into the house too, and into the restaurant. You know, it's like when I'm not there, LK being at the door is like it's certainly a Niver there. Yeah. That's great. It's really fun. Her drives are different and I love it. You know, she's picked hard shit to do though with her life, teaching kids, you know, so it seems like, you know, like I didn't necessarily like train her well enough to do something that was easier. But she just dives headlong into something that's the hardest. Yeah. And really important.
Owen's into fashion. He's making scarves and hats, and he wants to focus on fashion. And this is like a new thing. Fucking cool. And he's like, he bought a loom, and we're like, all right. Like, you know, we were worried it was just like another thing that he was like obsessed about, and then he's gonna get it, and he's moving on. You know, he comes home and he like something like beautiful pieces of scarves and hats, and we're just like kind of blown away by it. And like, it's so exciting to see these kids, you know, morph into, whether it's their permanent thing, but just watching them continue to be after something. Like, you don't need to be a scarf maker your whole life, but love that you're going down this right now and you're doing it, you're learning about it. Maybe you put it away at some point, but that exploration, I think, is really exciting to see in our children for sure.
I got in the car with LK yesterday and we went to a car dealership to replace the car that she got in an accident with this week. Everybody's fine. But the car got totaled, right? And it was really upsetting. But we went and I did some research for her and like serve it. It felt like I had a chance to kind of recoup. And it just was really great to hang out with her for a minute. I went and Christy drops her off at school at the moment, and I pick her up from her school when she's done teaching at the moment. And we get in the car and we go look at a car, and I drive the car because her wallet got stolen, right? You know, like adult things, but with your kid, you know. And so I had to test drive the car, and anyway, she's like thanking me so much, like, oh my God, I can't believe it, you know, like just the result of those hours. And then for me also was, I don't know, just like a beautiful thing. Like she just takes my aux cord, because I have an old car that has an aux cord, because that's what I do. And she plugs it in and then she sings. Short for auxiliary, everybody. She sings all the way home. Oh, that's amazing. She's singing. This is, you know, just, I don't know, like, you know, like I helped her be loose enough to like sing, and we were just in the car and she was just, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. I had this similar thing, but it was the song Let It Go from Frozen, and it was 4 times in a row. And when it goes away and I try to play something else, Juniper screams at the top of her lungs and says, let it go. But you know what, June? Daddy can't let it go because it's stuck in my head. Pencil in the ear, nothing works. Nothing works to get Frozen out of your head. Yeah, that's the world I'm in. I've never had it in there, so don't start. Maybe I have actually. Reindeer are better than people. That's one of the songs, Tim. So this other connection to music, you're still able to do some stuff with that, right? Am I still a controlling playlist person at the restaurants I'm involved in? Yes, I am 100% that. I do the music at Mr. Paul's, do the music at Earl Giles. Most of the places I consult at in the country, I'm doing the music for. And I feel that
you know, to me, I still have that like obsession with new music out there. And I love to be the person that shows people new artists and new songs. Yes. And I'm still that same person. Yeah. So extensive playlists. And, you know, now it's like I'll be training kids that are in their 20s and they'll be like, "Who, you did this playlist?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, wow. I didn't expect you to listen to this type of music." And I'm like, perfect. Then my mission is accomplished here. So yeah, I'm still doing a lot of that. And to me, the music is so important.
Any of those playlists?
Yeah, absolutely. On the Balloon Emporium menu, there's a QR code so everyone can scan it and it goes to the playlist. And I do a different Balloon Emporium playlist every year. And then all of them are available on Spotify. And yeah, we get people asking about them all the time. So I do a playlist every month as well. I can invite you to the, you know, I send it out to, you know,
how much is a select few.
A subscription, it's just your friendship. Yeah, it's a thumbs up when you get the link.
Yes. That's a lot.
You're like, never mind. Can I pay you money? How about $10?
I can do maybe $4.50 a month.
Yeah.
With all my other apps.
So I am still definitely, that's a big part of it. And you know, it's funny because people, how do you find time for this? But for me, like the exploration of finding new music and putting music together, it's the same thing that we've been talking about this whole time. It's the creating of the vibe. And to me, I look at the bar experience as a stage. And so I want to be exciting all of the senses, you know, so that's why my cocktails are so visual. That's why there's glitter in everybody's digestive tract that's ever been into any of my restaurants. You know, there is an element of that. And again, it goes back to the efficiencies behind the bar. If I can make the drink come out of the keg super fast, now I've got more time to decorate. And I think that decoration is the visual. It's the magic now. I think that the world knows how to use a jigger. The world knows how to stir a bar spoon with a bar spoon. Like that stuff isn't as exciting as it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago. What can we do to bring the guest to that excitement and that Instagrammable, you know, idea of it? And I'm not doing it for the gram by any means. I'm doing it for that, to watch people's eyes light up when they drink a Sazerac with liquid nitrogen in it and we're spraying cologne and it's smoking, and all of those elements I think are really special and what keeps people coming back, you know. And I think before it was really about like constant change. Like at Eat Street, it was, you know, we changed basically the entire menu every 3 months, but you lose something when you do that as well. And so like at Mr. Paul's, we only change a couple drinks every season, and because it writes itself. It's a Midwestern supper club inspired by New Orleans. I mean, ChatGPT could probably write the menu that's on there, but you know, hopefully not make it as delicious. But you know, it's an interesting element to it. So yeah,
I came up with that idea. A cannabis idea. I want to call it Canna Montana.
Oh wow!
Do you think that exists? Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I bet in Montana that might already exist, but it doesn't mean you can't use it here. And then, you know, is this like a poppy cannabis concept? Wow, cool. Disney and cannabis seems like a cross. Yeah, I love that you're spitballing here.
I don't want to do Disney.
I brought you so many cannabis beverages today for you to try at some point. So
I can't do cannabis.
Oh, you don't do cannabis?
I can't.
You can't?
Yeah, I can't talk about it either, but I can't. It's not illegal. It's like, it's not a thing.
I don't know what's happening.
Just telling you I can't.
Okay, heard. There's
but I want to look at them.
You want to smell them?
I want to,
yeah. I just want to smell the can if that's possible.
Nick, this has just been a spectacular time.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
It's beautiful. Like I say, you know, it's kind of a walk through some personal history, and I find you inspirational, and it's nice to see what you've done. And I, you know, like the humor you brought, all the laughs, and even just in, you know, in your visit today, you know, it reminds me of this guy, Tom, that came into the town talk one time, and he goes, Niver, he goes, when I'm in here, there is no war. My wife's the breadwinner and she makes love to me every night. The kids are getting A's in school. Like when I'm in here, the outside world and everything around me ceases to be a problem and it doesn't exist. And he said something like that. And I was like, that is something that will never, that is like the best compliment I ever got. Like, you know, it felt like the weight of the world was off this dude's shoulders.
I have a similar experience with you in that building. Very quickly after we opened Town Talk, I was going through a divorce, and it was a very hard time. Obviously, I was a young man. I was 26, already married, already have a kid. Now going through divorce, super tough, lots of weights, And I remember you coming to the bar one day, and I was just, I think I was probably just at my wit's end, sitting at the bar, and I, visibly frustrated and having a hard time. And you put your hand on my shoulder, and you blew into my ear. Wait, no, this is a different time. You put your hand on my shoulder and said, "In here, they can't get you. Out there, the real world is out there, and it's crazy. But when you come in here, just put it down and enjoy the fact that you're safe in here." And like that has resonated with me for so long, and it's to me, that's what we're doing for our team. That's what we're doing for our guests, is that like, it's not a forgetting of the world, but it's just a pause. And you can use that however you want. But for me in that moment, I used it as for real, got me through that, like putting the time into work, getting to work, being able to just put your phone away and put it away. And it's all going to be there waiting for you when you go back outside. But for these 6 hours or 8 hours or sometimes 14 hours, it was a long day. So those hours are sacred and special and safe, and it's where the magic lives. Yeah. And I'll never forget that, man. So,
you're in here now, you're in here now. And so nobody else can get at you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very fitting way to say thanks for all that you bring to the table and being a friend and, just pushing the envelope so others can see it and find inspiration in what, for themselves and what you do. And I do. So thanks for that, Nick.
Thank you.
I got a lot of love for you, man. Appreciate you and your time today on Niver Niver Land.